What's going on, ASOP family? This your boy Truth, that's short for Truth Over Narrative. Welcome to ASOP Boxing Talk. Hey man, we got some unexpected news. So during the interview with Keith Idec, shout out to Keith Idec. During the interview with Keith Idec, Mauricio Suleiman, he was asked about Errol Spence and obviously the unfortunate situation where Errol Spence not being able to fight Terrence Crawford. Mauricio talked about how that kind of was holding up the division a little bit, just for lack of better words. I'm just paraphrasing, but he spoke about that fight. And as Keith Idec started to talk about the mandatories and where the WBC fell as far as the mandatories confirmed, Mauricio Suleiman kind of broke news and kind of let us know that the IBF will step aside and the WBA will also step aside. And so the next mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. is, in fact, and will be mandated, is Keith Thurman. This is very, very breaking news, very shocking news. I was very surprised. I thought that Errol Spence will most likely have to go through with a Stan Jonas fight, being as though that Stan Jonas stepped aside for the Ugas fight. Now, what I will say is, I guess something that I really didn't think of was the fact that, Stan Jonas was Ugas's mandatory, right? So after that belt changed hands, that didn't necessarily mean that he was Errol Spence's mandatory, right? So again, the WBA, they will wait their turn. The IBF will wait as well. And we will, I guess they will be attempting to mandate Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence. Now, I'm not sure if that fight actually will take place. Obviously, we know there's some bad blood there. When Errol Spence was on the come up, he wanted to fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, had a lot of excuses, told him to get a belt. Earl got a belt. Keith was, in and out with his injury, in limbo and stuff like that. And truthfully, I just think at this point now, maybe besides a little bit of name and a little bit of trash talking, that Keith Thurman really doesn't have much to offer Errol Spence at this moment. So if Errol Spence continues to be a man of his word like he's been thus far, I doubt that we'll get that fight. It was pretty interesting as I was looking at the rankings for the WBC in the 147-pound division. So in the rankings, you got Keith Thurman as number 1. You got Virgil Ortiz and Jerome Bruce Ennis as number 2 and number 3. Got David Avanesian at number 4. Conor Benn at number 5, which is probably going to be dropped out for PED use. And then you got your Danius Ugas at number 6, right? So when you kind of break this down, obviously Keith Thurman is the mandatory. You got Virgil Ortiz, who is in the process of challenging or petitioning the WBA for a Stan Jonas fight for the WBA regular. So we got that going on with number 2. So he will kind of throw him out. You got Jerome Bruce Ennis, who's the IBF mandatory. So you kind of not say throw him out, but obviously we got to leave him off because he's the IBF mandatory. He's the number 1 person in that position over there with the IBF. David Avanesian, who's scheduled to fight Terrence Crawford here on December 10th on Black Prom Network. We don't know if that's going to happen. Maybe, may not, but he is currently contractually obligated to fight Terrence Crawford. And then you got Conor Benn, who I doubt it. I don't think we're going to see Conor Benn for a long time. He was the number 5 ranked opponent or number 5 ranked fighter in the WBC. Then we got Yordenis Ugas, man. So obviously Yordenis Ugas coming off that 10-round stoppage from Errol Spence back in April 16th. I was in the building. Shout out to Chicken Talk. We had a suite in there that night. Beautiful event at Jerry's World. I'm a Giants fan, but man, you can't go wrong going to Jerry's World. But I wouldn't be surprised if we were to get Keith Thurman versus Yordenis Ugas for the vacant WBC title somewhere in the first quarter of 2023. I really wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, again, we'll have to see once the WBC mandates that fight. We got to see if Earl will just vacate that belt. Will he take the fight with Keith Thurman? He said on multiple occasions that he will not take a fight with Keith Thurman. But at the end of the day, man, this is boxing, and you just never know what can happen, man. So again, I'm excited. I mean, again, it's a little disappointing that we didn't get the Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight, but I'm not going to cry because we didn't get one fight when we've had a year with about 5 or 6 undisputed fights, multiple unification bouts, multiple great fights, a lot of good boxing going on this year. And, sometimes, certain fights get past us, but it is what it is. So again, man, there's some shocking news to me. I didn't think that this kind of came, I don't want to say out of left field because, sometimes you can expect certain things. But I'm just kind of surprised that we will get this fight mandated by the WBC, this Keith Thurman and Errol Spence fight. In my personal opinion, I think Errol Spence doesn't take the fight. I think he drops all the belts, moves up to 154, kind of forget about Crawford, and just starts to make his name known in an attempt to become a 2-division world champion. So I just think I personally think that's the route that we're going to get from Errol Spence. However, you never know. We'll see. Either way, I just wanted to drop that news on y'all on this Thursday afternoon. A-Side Boxing Talk. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And then when you tell that friend, make sure they tell another friend. Hey, subscribe, man. I try to bring you non-biased boxing news. And that's why my name is Truth, man. We coming with the truth over narrative. I don't want to spin no narrative. I just want to give you the news as it is and let you make it and let you make an opinion on what I said, you know. So let you have an informative opinion. You know what I'm saying? So either way, man, like, comment, subscribe. A-Side Boxing Talk. We out.